in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we are live, coming to you from an undisclosed location somewhere in Northeast Ohio. I'm Josh McClay, aka O'Malley of O'Malley's Adventure. That's Mike Snee, Ward 6, City of Massillon Council candidate. And this is O'Malley Live. I want to thank everybody for joining, whether you're watching live or in post. The number to contact the show is 330-809-1924. Or you can email us at o'malleysadventure@yahoo.com. You're back, my friend.
I am. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. We're continuing, actually, we're winding things up as far as the speaking to candidates. This is your second time on the show. We've a couple things have happened since you were on the last time, and I think we should start with the keep our kids alive.
Oh, yeah.
I think that'd be a really good place to start. So unpackage that one a little bit.
Sure. So this all kicked off because everybody that I've talked to, going door to door, my neighbor Jake pointed it out. He was the first one to point it out to me. I always kind of thought it, but basically he said, you know, he's watching Standish, and he takes his niece out to the bus stop, and there's cars going 40, 45, and
Right.
25. He's like, you know what, Mike? It's only a matter of time before somebody does something stupid. And he's right. And you know, weather conditions are changing. We're starting to get to that rain now. And with leaves on the road, you can hydroplane on dry leaves.
Absolutely.
So if you're going 45 through a neighborhood with kids riding their bikes, playing out in the front yard, you know, a ball runs out to the yard, or they see a cat or something.
Right.
And that reminds me of another point. Remind me towards the end of the show about the cat.
Okay.
It's an accident waiting to happen. You
Okay.
know? So I'm basically stepping back. I'm looking at the big picture, and I'm just trying to protect our kids, so to speak.
Okay.
My son just turned 20 months old. I'm thinking, you know, okay, he's a big dude already.
Right.
Oh my gosh. He's going to be bigger than I am. I guarantee it. And I'm hoping, you know, I'll nudge him. Hey, maybe you want to play football, maybe for Massillon.
Right.
But whatever he decides to do, that's his choice.
Right.
So I'm thinking, you know, I'm doing everything in my power, one, to keep him safe.
Right.
That's always my number one issue.
Okay.
Same thing with my neighbor's daughter. Same thing with the street behind me, one of my best friend's kids.
Right.
So they're also coming out with me on November 1st for the parade. The golf cart's entered, by the way.
Okay.
So look for that. We're going to
Sweet.
be handing out candy. I hope to see everybody there. No political stuff whatsoever. It's just a good time for everybody. Can't wait.
Sure.
Sorry, I had to throw that little tidbit in. But that's the kind of future these kids should expect. They deserve, in
Okay.
my opinion. They deserve to be safe, free from people going 40 miles an hour. And I'm going to be open and honest right now.
Mm-hmm.
I have been issued a speeding ticket 6 years ago for doing 51 and a 25.
Oh boy.
And I took it to court,
Mm-hmm.
and it was, I forget the terminology, but it was amended because, if I remember correctly, the officer's equipment was not tuned properly, and I was not going 51.
Right.
I said, you know, I may have been going 27, 28, and a 25, you know.
Right.
My fault, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so with that, they said, well, we can't dismiss it, but we'll change it to an unsafe vehicle. So if you look at CJIS, yeah, it's on there.
Right.
And then I have a few others that, hey, you know, I spend 11 hours on the road. I'm a human being. I err, you know.
Right.
I'll be the first to admit that. And I've learned to slow it down.
Right.
You increase. You want to never have an accident. Here's the key.
Right.
What do you do?
Slow down. Pay attention.
Yeah, but what does slowing down do? I mean, I teach truck drivers, so this is me teaching. As a professional, the definition of a professional driver is to keep yourself and others out of harm's way.
Right.
Okay. To do that, slowing down increases your following distance. If you
Sure.
increase your following distance,
Right.
you will never have a front end collision with another car.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Right.
So I've been driving for 25 years, heavy equipment. And I started out on my uncle's farm, running hay and bark. I've never had an accident.
Right.
I was trained by the Smith System Institution. It's a scientifically proven driving method. It's a 6-month course
Right.
that you have to take, and it is intense. Yeah, increase your following distance. You want to increase it for every 10 miles an hour. You want to leave a car length.
Right.
Okay, so if you're going 55 on the interstate, how often do you see cars leaving 6 car spaces?
It's rare.
Rare.
Very rare.
Everybody's doing it wrong. So, yeah, that's a concern to me. So I'm going door to door, and I'm seeing these people go.
Right.
I am seeing them go 40 miles an hour. I'm like, man, you know, that's nuts. It's so yeah. I told Jake, you know, I this is the opportunity I'm taking.
Okay.
I swore if I ever ran for office for anything, I'm going to use my campaign dollars and work it towards a message to resolve an issue, to bring attention to an issue.
Right.
Try to. That's all it is. It's just we're trying to prevent an accident. And you know what? I missed the ball.
Right.
So, boy, what was it? About 2-3 weeks ago, up by Lincoln Way in Maine, there was a 15-year-old kid who got hit.
Okay.
Got his bike ran over, scraped up. As soon as the elections are over, my intentions are to track down that family, see if he's got a bike. I guess he got bruises and cuts. He's okay, but it was a hit and run.
Oh boy.
So it was in the paper. It wasn't anything big.
Right.
As far as promoted or anything, you know, it was just a tidbit story, so as they say. So I'd like to find that kid and get him a bike. Take him to Walmart. Say, hey, pick whatever you want.
Right.
You know, if he doesn't have a bike already.
Right.
And it's just solely because it's timing.
Right.
You know. But yeah, that's what kicked this off.
Gotcha.
That's
so
the whole story behind it.
So, because somebody's going to ask, this is.
What do I do with my water? There it is. Sorry.
So this is funded through your campaign.
Yep.
Okay.
I dumped well, I don't know if it's cheesy to say the price or not, but I dumped $1,000 into this.
Right.
So little over 1,000.
So what's the deciding factor as far as where you put the signs at?
Good question. They're available to anybody. Initially, I was like, you know what? I'll offer it to Ward 6 residents. Mm-hmm. Why?
Right.
You know? So anybody, I want to limit it to Massillon, though.
Sure.
You know? And maybe it just, I want Massillon. It's where my kid's at.
Right.
And that might be selfish, but I want my kid to be safe.
Right.
Sorry. But to obtain a sign, all you got to do is give me a call. 330-265-1667. You can shoot me an email, sneeward6@gmail.com. You can get a hold of me and PM me on Facebook.
And
it goes on and on.
Right. Well, and as far as the other communities go, I mean, this isn't something that you have lock, stock, and barrel on it. There's no copyright or whatnot. They can do the same things in their own communities, which would probably be a good idea, especially if it's something that's funded by the community itself. Right. You know. So we're going to talk a little bit about the parks. Do you want to jump into that first, or do you want to go?
Yeah. I took some pictures, which hopefully we can put them up. And it'll be all right. But right before I came here, you know, the majority of our parks, Steve Pedro does a wonderful job. I think everybody, no matter what side of the aisle, can agree on that.
Sure.
He does a great deal with very little.
Yes.
Right? So, Lincoln Park, again, right by my house, looks to me and to a lot of people in my neighborhood like a bomb went off.
Okay.
Okay. There's trees falling down everywhere. And to get those trees out, they've drug them out,
Right.
which causes ruts all the way down Season Memorial to the right and left of it. The picnic area that I'm donating my salary if I get elected. I don't know if I told you about this or not.
No.
Yeah, I'm donating my entire pay,
Okay.
and hopefully I can get some corporate sponsorship.
Okay.
But we're donating a picnic area back into the park, whether it's just picnic tables or we'll see what we can do.
Okay.
The basketball court, it's gone.
Right.
It's been gone for
Down
years.
at the bottom of the hill.
At the top of the hill.
Top of the hill.
At the top of the hill in Lincoln Park on the right-hand side, they're using it as a dumping pad.
Oh yeah, before you make the bend to go up.
Right,
and,
right by
gotcha.
the catch basin that's lowered
Right.
6 inches into the ground because they didn't put a riser underneath of it.
Maybe. My defense, that wasn't us.
No, it was not the road department. It was a contractor. So, yeah, the one that everybody's bottoming their car out on that I spoke of last time.
Right.
My main focus with my funds, my salary is I'm buying the equipment, putting that basketball court back in. It's a donated basketball court.
Okay.
The picnic tables, my friends and I, we're going to build them, donate them. Good to go.
Right.
We'll stake them in the ground so they don't mysteriously wake up in the middle of the night and walk them away. Railroad ties, there's a picture of it. It's just a concrete pad with some railroad ties are completely disintegrated.
Right.
You know how long you have to neglect something for a railroad tie to disintegrate?
It's been there for a couple minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, at least 1 or 2 seconds.
Right.
So, yeah, that's my goal, And now that I'm looking at it, and again, depends on whether I'm elected or not, but I'd like to get a hold of Steve and say, look, where they drug these trees out of that fell down, which I don't understand why. There's equipment they could have used
Right.
to
do
do that
work.
properly
Sure.
rather than just pulling them all out and dragging them all down. Because they did. I mean, there's pictures of that too. I don't know if you can show that or not.
Well, look, do you want to go through the pictures?
Sure.
Okay.
I'll explain each one.
Okay. This one here.
Yep, that's the picnic area that I was talking about.
Okay.
If you look at these railroad ties in the back behind the grill got flattened. Don't know how. I don't think a tree fell on it, but yeah, the grills are in bad shape, so those got to go.
Okay. So we go to the next one.
We can replace those, but yeah, that whole pad. I mean, we just got concrete pads sitting around with nothing on them.
Right. Well, there used to be something on them.
Correct.
Right.
So, I'm not proud of this park.
Okay.
I want to be proud of this park. My neighbors want to be proud of this park. We want a place for our kids to go.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go ahead and go to the next one. This is the basketball court. Again, At least this grill is in good shape.
Right.
Nobody's ever going to use it, but
Right.
and, I've lived there for 10 years. I've never seen somebody use it. So, but yeah, you could see in the back there again along the far side where they're dumping. Looks like just debris. I don't know if it's not. I don't think it's mulch, but it's just chippings. And it's been sitting there for years now. And they do move it. I mean, they come and they move it around. And, I don't know if they're just using it, if they're actually making mulch there.
Wow.
But yeah, that's been there for at least 2 years, if not 3 years.
Okay.
I moved, and that's a picture. That is Lincoln Park Drive. You can see where the road's cracking. It's pushing up against itself because we didn't fix the foundation underneath of it.
Right.
We didn't create that. We just dumped. It's called resurfacing. It's where you put a top layer. You mill it up. You level it. You put a top layer. I don't think they leveled it. They didn't go down into the foundation to get that nice level.
Right.
And that's what worries me about streetscape too, but that's a whole nother subject. And I'm focusing on Ward 6 tonight.
Okay.
Okay. So, because that's my job.
Right.
Or hopefully will be my job.
Right.
And that's what I want to focus on. So, yeah, again, this is in Lincoln Park, just right as soon as you go into Mayflower Village on the right-hand side. You can see where the road's cracking right at the beginning of the picture.
Right.
The pictures really don't do it justice.
Right.
It is so wavy.
Right. Well, I know where that's the Northwest is my section in the wintertime, and I try to drive through it a couple times throughout the year to make sure there's no unforeseen things happening. Because every once in a while the asphalt will push away from like a manhole. And when those manholes stick up and you hit them with your plow, you either break something or the shock comes back through the steering wheel, and it's almost like hitting a baseball wrong,
Yeah.
and it stings it all the way up through your neck. It's interesting.
Yeah. Well, imagine. I mean, well, you don't have to imagine, but people that don't know, imagine how hard that is on the equipment.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
The torque that the engine's taking, the frame, the blade. It is astronomical that thing doesn't rip off.
I've pulled a couple out of the ground.
Yeah,
A couple of the rings.
I believe it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then those cylinders that angle the plow. If you hit one right, it's amazing because the cylinders are huge.
Yeah.
And it'll split that thing right up the side, just like nothing.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of pressure there.
And hydraulic cylinders are expensive.
Yes.
They're expensive.
Yes, they are. Let's go on to this one.
Okay, so this is to the left of the Cecil Memorial. This is where I was talking about. You could see, I mean, it looks like a dirt mud road.
Right.
At this point. That was all, that's supposed to be grass. That entire area is supposed to be grass.
Right.
So, and that goes from 17th Street all the way up to the top of the hill in the back of the neighborhood. So, you see what I'm saying? This is what I mean. I'm not saying to be mean or say, hey, my opponent's wrong, that we need to be proud of our part. I'm not proud of this. I can't be.
Right.
I don't know who can.
And this is the last one. This is up a little bit higher.
Yeah, I walked up a little bit,
Right.
and and the road continues, and that's how they left. That's how it is as of 1 hour ago. It's a disaster.
Yes. It's been a while since.
I want to take a second and applaud somebody for coming to finally, after sitting for almost a year, finally come and get. Remember last time where I was on here and I showed you that picture of the catch basin grate?
Yes.
Yeah, somebody finally came and collected that. I don't know who. I don't know if it was the road department. I don't know if it was, but somebody finally got it off the side of the road. So good job.
You know what? We do go out and collect them every once in a while.
Yeah.
Because usually towards the end of the year. So, Ed says that he wants a taco stand in every park. I don't know. Have you experienced Ed yet on Massillon? On the
I met Ed I don't know if I can. He probably won't care. I met him in person the other day.
Yeah, Ed
at an undisclosed location.
Ed is either the show jester,
yeah,
or he asks very pointed questions.
Ed's a smart guy.
Yes.
Ed is a very smart guy.
Matter of fact, he got the first O'Malley's Adventure coffee mug.
Oh yeah.
Yes, he did. So
I'm jealous.
So Ed is Ed's been a fan of the show for a while. He's good people.
Yeah, he's got some really good ideas. I'm totally on board with. Not gonna say him now, but he's a smart man.
Yes. So,
and he stays low key enough that he's out of the limelight.
Yes.
Except for apparently the Facebook police, but that's a whole other story.
That's a whole different.
Talk about people taking things out of context. Gee whiz. Poor guy.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, I love Ed. Ed's a great guy. Taco stands. Hey man, any kind of entrepreneurship, anything that brings business to Massillon.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm on board with it.
Yep. Food related.
There's a hot dog stand vendor that I know. I don't know. Some people know him. Best hot dogs I've ever had. And I totally support him.
Right. And it's hard to say no to a hot dog. I mean,
especially these. You ought to. If you've never, he's located over at 5 Points over there by Ferraro's. It's great.
Yeah.
It's great. One of the best business ventures I've ever seen.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, this guy he's took nothing from the ground up, and worked his way, and he's got a wonderful stand that just keeps growing, and great guy. He's a good guy.
Yes.
But yeah, I love it. I'm all for taco stands, hot dog stands. I do believe in food safety, so I would like to, who's the person who comes out and inspects the
Health
food?
department.
The health department.
Yeah.
Yeah, the health inspector. That's
Health
it. Yeah,
inspector.
the
Yeah.
health inspector comes out and he gets to it and he passes with flying colors because he knows what he's doing. Imagine that.
So back to the parks. You say, so we sort of bundle that up. You're going to donate.
Hmm.
As far as your earnings, as far as a council person, you're
Yeah.
donating that
Yeah.
to the parks for the basketball court, tables.
Yeah, family. There's been some ideas. There's no dog park on the west side.
Mm-hmm.
So on the other side of 17th, whoever wins Ward 2,
Right.
I will work with them. I am not going to touch anything outside of my ward because that's not my job,
Right.
you know. But it doesn't mean we can't co-op on a project,
Right.
especially when it's that close in between the two. But there has been some expression, hey, you go back into Mayflower Village, everyone owns a dog.
Yes.
Everyone owns a dog.
Yes.
So yeah, you look at the playground that's there, and there's this big grassy area where there's sometimes some baseball where they catch and throw, and they take up a very small portion for that youth baseball.
Right.
So keep an area for them to still practice. You know, it doesn't have to be anything big, but
Right.
just a fenced-in area, and it can be the Lincoln Park dog park. You know, for the west side where because people like to take I see people outside walking their dogs all the time.
Sure.
You know, walk down to the dog park, let them go nuts for a while.
Yeah.
You know, rather than going all the way over to the east side for your dog park, which is, you know, that's a beautiful park too. But why not have one on the west side?
Sure.
So it's been an idea, not my idea, but going door to door, especially in Mayflower Village, I said, you know, we would love that.
Sure.
So depending on funding, you know, we'll see what happens. But I'm really not doing this for the money. I'm really not doing it for power. I'm doing it because I want a better place for my kid to grow up. I'm doing it because I don't want my neighbor's kid falling into a sinkhole next to a catch basin, which happened.
Right.
You know, I'm just a guy trying to make our community better.
Right.
So I want to, if I can touch on this, here's an olive branch for my opponent.
Mm-hmm.
I think she has done the best she can do.
Okay.
Okay, honestly. I think we need to go in a little bit of a different direction now.
Okay.
So I want to continue working hard where she left off.
Okay.
And, you know, we'll see how the people of Ward 6 feel here in a couple of weeks.
Ed says collaboration, the magic word.
Yeah.
I think,
I told you, he's a smart guy.
Speaking of animals, do you want to touch on the dog warden animal control?
That's why I asked you to remind me of the cat.
Okay.
So I brought this up in council last Monday, and as if Massillon doesn't have enough issues, this is the third time I had a gentleman put together a group Facebook text PM.
Okay.
With a couple of people I've never met. But what happened is there's this young lady who lives in Ward 6 whose neighbor's dog, a pit bull, which I love pit bulls. If you raise them right, they are the most softest, sweetest dogs ever.
Sure.
If you train them to be a security dog, that's the last thing you'd want to run into in a situation where
Sure.
you're the bad guy doing the bad thing.
Right.
So with that said, I love pit bulls.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have one. I got an idiot for a dog. He will lick somebody to death.
Yes. I have one of those.
But yeah, he's a Bernese Mountain Dog, and he is totally the most lovable dog. But so this young lady, back on track. This young lady says this dog came over, mauled a kitten.
Okay.
Kitten's still alive. She calls the dog warden, the Stark County dog warden.
Okay.
And, well, they're not on duty right now. We'll get back to you. So we'll send somebody out as soon as we can. And she said they never sent anybody out. Which they may. Here's the thing. I think they did send somebody out. I just don't think that they came to her.
Right.
Because the dog warden, and correct me if I'm wrong, and the point guy on this is Harris, Jason Harris.
Right.
And I really want him to bring this to light, and I think he will.
Mm-hmm.
He's been working up, but there's I'm sure there's a ton of red tape he's got to go through, and that's kind of the catch-22 to all of this.
Right.
Is that red tape.
Sure.
So, and that includes the basketball court and all that kind of stuff
Sure.
too. So these are my intentions. We'll
Right.
see who throws a wrench into what.
Right.
So, yeah, I think we need a animal control officer for all animals, not just dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I think we need it in Massillon for Massillon.
Right.
Okay. Stark County for one department for a division of one department to cover that amount, that's got to be close to insane.
Right.
You know, so yeah, I'm not surprised that Stark County Sheriff never made contact with this lady, according to the lady.
Right.
I'm sure they tried, but I'm guessing after so much time passes, there's a mix-up in communication, something.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not blaming Stark County at all. I love Stark County. They do an awesome job. I got a friend that works at Stark County.
Right.
Well, yeah, anyway. I just think that we will have much better success if we keep it local.
Right.
And that's often the solution to a lot of these problems when you're looking at a grandiose scale.
Sure.
Excuse me. So, yeah, I that's what I think about the animal control situation. And why I'm pushing so hard on it, I love cats. I have 2 cats too.
Mm-hmm.
I love cats, but I'm not doing it to protect the kittens.
Right.
Okay. This girl, she tried nursing the kitten. She tried getting the kitten help. Kitten passed away the next morning. Still no, she didn't know what to do with it, so she wound up burying it.
Right.
How again, with my mindset laser focused the way it is, this is the 3rd situation I've heard in a month and a half,
Right.
where a dog has gotten a hold of a cat and mauled it
Right.
to death. How long is it going to be?
When it's a kid.
Bingo.
Right.
How long is it going to be before somebody goes, "Hey, your dog came over and mauled my kid"?
Sure.
Because I'm telling you, they're out there playing,
Right. And
as they should be.
Right.
So it's only a matter of time. But yeah, Jason's the point on this. And that guy knows what he's doing too.
Right. Jason's in the chat. The administration is trying to hijack the idea. Either the sheriff is going to say we don't need one, or we do need one, and it's good Kathy thought of it. That's Jason's thoughts on the idea.
Yeah, I agree with him, but it's screw politics. It's the will of the people want an animal control officer.
Mm-hmm.
The people are in charge of the government.
Right.
Do it.
Right.
I don't care who. Do it.
Well, that and from everything I've heard so far, we've already budgeted money for those extra officers.
I
So-
can't speak to it, but yeah.
so-
Okay.
And this is, I'm just paraphrasing the dialogue that was at the council meetings. So if the funding's in place, finding a person would be maybe the only step I see.
Yeah.
Because even at a union contract level, all of them have a provision in it to where you can just open up you sit down, you say, look, this is the position we want to create, blah, blah, blah. It goes up for bid, loosely speaking, and then you fill the position. Nobody bids on it, you hire outside. I mean, like I said, that's a rough, most contracts have something like that in it. So if you have the money and the means is there.
The rest should fall into place.
Right. Mm-hmm. So let's see. Ed says they will only push it till the election is over.
Who's they and pushing it? What is it?
I believe he's making reference to the
Administration.
animal control position. I don't know.
Well,
I think if enough people knock on that door, eventually somebody's going to have to do something to make that right.
there is a problem with our government. There's an understatement. Um, Houston, we have a problem. Uh, I'm reiterating words that I'm being told. People are tired of, hey, so and so in the government, I have this problem. Can you address it for me?
Mm-hmm.
It's going to take time. We'll look into it. We'll get back to you. The election season comes up. All your catch basins are magically fixed.
Right.
All your roads are starting to be done. Why did here's your fire station.
Sure.
you know, I uh, geez, it's just why does it take the threat of somebody losing their political power? And I'll tell you what, mark my words, because I believe in term limits.
Mm-hmm.
As city council, 2 terms, done. I'm going to do what I can do.
Mm-hmm.
I will run again after this because it's going to, I'm a quick learner, just like Jason.
Mm-hmm.
I can pick it up. I've already started to pick it up quick. I've already, well, I don't want to go there because I'm afraid that somebody might, within the system, get a repercussion.
Right.
So I won't go there, but I've addressed issues that have gotten repaired as far as roads go.
Right.
So yeah, I'm doing 2 terms as Ward 6 council, and I've already had some people go, that's a bummer, because if you're really good at it, we want to keep you. That's not what it was supposed to be designed for.
Right.
So I might look at large. I might look elsewhere.
Right.
If needed.
Right.
And the stars are aligned and all that kind of stuff if I can still do it. But to me, this is not a power grab. This is not a payday.
Right.
This is sacrifice. I'm sacrificing my time, my energy, my money for my kid, for my neighbor. I'm hammered into people because that's what it is. This is how it's supposed to be. Mm-hmm. This is why I don't have signs out there that go, look at me.
Right.
Vote for me.
Right.
No, vote for yourself. Vote for the people. That's what it's supposed to be about. And then when somebody forgets that, hey, November 5th's in 2 weeks.
Right.
Do it. There's your voice. Do it.
Sure. And again, I'm a big fan of people that don't use their rights tend to lose them. Mm-hmm. Voting is probably one of, to me, and again, not to sound like.
Now, I do want to make one clear remark, though.
Okay.
Okay. That's how I feel.
Right.
I'm human. I'm fallible. I don't necessarily say that that's the golden rule. That's just how I feel, okay? Mm-hmm. So there are people out there that have been in there for a while that I personally believe are doing a fantastic job.
Okay.
So I don't mean that they need to get out of office.
Sure.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
I'm one of those people going, man, I want you to stay in office. So because they have that same drive. This is again my personal opinion, how I feel. They have that same thought process. They want to do what's best for the people, and they're good at it. So that's what they're doing. So that's just me. But as far as I go, 4 years,
you're done
with the councilman position. Yes, okay. I'll look at other venues, see if what's available.
Right.
Go from there. So because that's the way it was designed to be. That's what makes the system work.
Right. That something that I was talking about the other day is leaving things a little bit better than what you found it.
Oh yeah.
And I've had one heck of a good run. I've been with the city now 23 years, going on 24. And if it's just a little bit better when I'm done, I'm good. I don't have any. But to have that much time vested, you see a lot, because when I first got hired, we had Eaton's, we had World Kitchen, the mill was still running, Canton
Hmm.
Elevator, MCA Sign, all those places were
Oh yeah,
in
yeah.
action, and so people making a difference and actually stepping up. Sometimes those fresh ideas are the best ones
Sure.
because we've had some maybe got a little stale. So,
I'm putting a lot of thought into this next statement because I want to make sure I'm wording it exactly how I mean it.
mm-hmm.
Um, is the city better than when you started or worse?
Worse. I mean, no, and I'm not saying that to bash the city. I've seen
No, no,
a,
yeah,
a lot of decline,
yeah.
and I've seen a lot of things. Look, just for instance, and not to make the golf course an issue or whatnot, but when I started with the city and the golf course was put in place, uh, Chicken Alley was adamant no tax money would go to that golf course. I mean, and that's the way it was. And now,
Right.
I mean, it's a boat anchor. So
Well,
I
yeah.
think so. When I say worse, I mean I think some decisions were made along the way that not that person had bad intentions. It just turned out poorly. It did not work out.
Seems to be the MO of Maslin.
Yes.
I do believe that everybody who nah, I can't say that. I do believe that most people
Right.
that are in office have the best of intentions for Maslin.
Mm-hmm.
But there's those who are disconnected. There are those who are trying to leave a legacy.
Yes.
It's just, again, totally in my opinion. Full disclosure, this is just my opinion.
Sure.
Uh, and I think they're doing it at the expense of hurting the citizens.
Yes. Well,
I I moved here 10 years ago, and I took into an account, hey, I live it's kind of like you had Blaine Reiser on the show,
right.
you know? He bought his property, his house, because he lived next to a historical, beautiful monument where a lot of people, it meant something to them.
Right.
That memories were made there. You can't put a price on that.
No.
And that's why it's so hard. And when you make it, the mayor the other day said, well, I guess a little over a month ago in council that nobody on the west side wants the reservoir back or something to that degree.
Right. Yeah.
And I got up and I said, absolutely, people on the west side want the reservoir back for that reason. Yeah, it's not at our back door.
Right.
It's on the other side of town. But there's people there that got engaged.
Right.
They've formed families there. They take their family for events there.
Sure. I mean,
It's a hard topic.
right. Um,
You got to do something.
right.
Somebody somewhere has to do something for that. And on the west side, in my backyard,
Right.
is Lincoln Park.
Right.
And it is a bombshell.
Yes.
I'm sorry, it is.
Um, Ed asks, has Mike Slater been on the show? Yes. He also says a hockey rink with a team, a water park, or a casino. The list goes on.
I believe the casino was an option already. I'm not opposed to a casino. Any business coming into Maslin,
Right.
any business coming into Maslin,
Yes.
because I read a report where in the past 4 years we've lost 2,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
We went from 34,000, a gross population of 34,000. Now we're at 32.
Yep.
And Maslin has expanded territory.
Yes.
So that's bad.
Yeah. Um,
In my opinion, that's bad.
we also, he mentions the hockey rink and team. I don't know if you remember or if you were living in Maslin when they were going to build the arena down by
Negative.
where the Great Escape Theater is.
Negative.
Yeah, that.
I was in high school when Eric Taylor and that's when I first really started paying attention to Massillon.
Yeah.
That story hit me hard.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know Eric. I went down. I said a prayer at his memorial, the makeshift memorial that was there. I left a badge with a black stripe,
Mm-hmm.
my badge with a
Mm-hmm.
black stripe. Um, didn't tell anybody. I'm to this day until now. I've never told anybody.
Mm-hmm.
But I read that story like I do so many heroes of Massillon,
Mm-hmm.
Season, and so forth. Damn, what a loss.
Right.
Excuse my language, but what an unnecessary, stupid loss.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I'm sorry, I'm way off topic, but it's just how I feel.
Yeah.
And to this day, I think about it and what a great man he was, and it's hard.
Yep.
So, yeah, I've always had the utmost respect for our police department ever since then. The legal system, so on and so forth. Elam, great guy.
I think
Great guy.
as far as the things that are in place, Massillon, well, even then and now, has always had the potential for greatness as far as, even just from an infrastructure level. We got Route 21, Route 30, 241. You got a railway system that comes through town, a couple different directions.
Oh, we're set up.
It's it in my head. I'm thinking why, or why not? As far as bringing things to Massillon, it would almost you would think it would be easy versus
Yeah, especially in an economy where the GDP was 4.1, a year ago.
sure,
Why is it that the rest of the nation is expanding
right,
that has economic growth, but yet Northeast Ohio and including Massillon
right,
is shrinking?
sure,
Why is that? Why? I don't get it. At work we've laid off 11 people,
right.
one way or another.
Makes
They've either terminated, they've forced transferred. We laid off people because the areas are shrinking.
Mm-hmm.
So, and who's in charge of all those areas? And how long have they been in charge?
And I think
I don't get it.
I think maybe that's one of the reasons that you're starting to see things shift around
Yeah.
because
And I don't think people get it.
right,
I think we missed. I even have it on my door-to-door material. We missed the boat.
right.
But I don't think it's too late to catch the next one.
No, well, there's still people. There's still people motivated to see Massillon grow, and I think as long as that's in place, that there's always going to be that chance, especially for the next boat.
Absolutely.
So, anything else that you wanted to throw out there on the block?
Oh, I'm sure. We talked about the park.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, the disc golf course. It's free.
Right.
Oh yeah. So I had a customer of mine the
Okay.
other day come up to me and said, I am not one of these college guys, hey man, how you do,
Right.
he's not, but he was told, hey, take up an activity because your stress levels are too high and it's affecting your health. So, he went out and tried disc golf for the first time,
Mm-hmm.
and he went to Massillon Park, and he's like, that disc golf course was absolutely amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing he's upset with, is the trash in the parks.
Okay.
Apparently, it's an issue.
Yes, it is.
I know it's an issue because I often go through there and people have snapshotted me doing it. I didn't ask them to.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take out bags of trash
Right.
because I live there.
Right. Well,
Because that's what you're supposed to do. So, yeah, we need to up the awareness for the trash a little bit. And I think that area, and this is, again, in collaboration with an individual who is currently watching the show right now because he's a freaking genius. Uh, it might be a good idea, regardless of who wins, to hold a tournament there and with sponsors. Create an event like you do downtown. It doesn't have to be just about downtown.
Right.
You know, why can't you do it in Ward 6? Why can't you do it in Ward 1? Why can't you do it in Ward 2?
Right. Well, that and uh, there's, I can't remember. I ran into a guy down there, and he was telling me how much he spent just on the frisbees.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I mean, there's
Yeah,
there
they're like $60 a piece or something.
there are people that are into it.
Yeah.
So
So
you know what?
capitalize on it.
That's a good idea.
I did see that somebody, I don't know who, but I was coming home from work 7:30 at night one night about 2 weeks ago. Big trailer full of golf, frisbee disc golf apparel and equipment. And I don't know if they had a permit to be there. I don't care. That's fantastic.
Yep.
I love seeing capitalism going on.
Right.
And that's economic development. Big trailer.
Sure.
28 feet.
Was it down in the park?
Yeah, yeah, it was right across the street in Ward 2, in that little, right by the playground area.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they set up shop, and fantastic, you know. So let's, hey, Massillon, why don't we get on board and publish it? If it's such a big thing, which it is, get on board and let's publicize it. Let's start holding some events there. Some real events, some money-making events.
Sure.
So just one more thing that we can focus and work on.
Yeah.
So
Well, we're at the 46-minute mark.
that's easy.
That's
I can keep going.
it's well. What else? What do you? Floor's yours. What do you want to talk about?
I don't want it to run to an hour and a half, but I could see some of the comments over there. It looks like people have been chatting.
Let's see.
I'm not sure
Ed-
what Harris is referring to.
Ed says if we don't get the
Councilman.
next boat, we're doomed. Ed, you're such an optimist. Jason Harris says free speech issue.
Now, there's something that happened in council the other night. I don't know if that's what, hey, Jason, if you got a second, if that's what you're referring to. But yeah, so Claudia basically says the other night, you were there.
Yeah.
Hey, and I get what she's asking. She just wants people to, basically like the community board, she just wants people, be on your best behavior. Don't turn this into a circus. That's how she should have approached it.
Mm-hmm.
But to limit how loud somebody can get because they're emotional.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what are you going to do? Tell the lady who came and said, hey, these dogs came over and ate my cats. Don't cry. That's attracting drama. Don't cry. You can't do that.
Right.
No, you can't. You can't limit people's emotions. Now, you can tell them to conduct themselves in a manner that is coexistent with the laws that we have now.
Right.
Don't insult people. Don't go up there and insult people. I agree with that. Basically, what I call school rules.
Right.
Conduct yourself like an adult. I know it's hard for some people, most people.
Right.
But come on, be mature. Don't go up there and scream and point fingers. But say what you need to say. Just do so in a manner. So I'm not supporting exactly what Claudia said, but I get what she's doing, and I think that might be an unpopular. Again, that's just my opinion. I think it might be an unpopular opinion, but I'm not in any way saying what she said was correct.
Right.
I think people should be able to go up there and say exactly whatever it is they want to say, as long as it's not outside the law.
Sure. Inciting violence and do
Oh
all
yeah,
the,
well yeah,
all the
yeah,
good,
that's
all
clear. Yeah, but I mean, there's a fine line where just be mature about it. As long as you're mature about it, you should be able to say whatever you want to say about anything that anybody's doing.
Right.
Fair?
Real quick, Ed says there's a 16-second delay. So from the time we say it, there's about
Sure.
16 seconds to it. Okay.
Okay.
Especially once I got into this type of work, I've seen some really weird things happen is just in the past 3 years with free speech. And and
Yeah.
uh, I err to the side of caution. I've actually done a good bit of reading on the First Amendment in particular, and my belief is this: when speech is the most vile, that's when it should be protected the most. Because at some point, somebody will come out, other than you, the person formulating the thought, what is acceptable and what isn't. And nowhere in human history has there been any benevolence that came along with squashing someone's right to speech. So maybe that's
Wow.
an extreme end of it,
Oh, well said.
but at the end of the day, just sort of off topic, everybody's real big on saying that the president should put the hush on people. And at the same time, they'll call him Hitler,
Mm-hmm.
right? And if you pick up a history book, what did Hitler do? He put a
Killed
squash on
6
people.
million Jews.
First he limited their speech,
Right.
then he disarmed
Right.
them, and then he killed them. I mean,
Right.
I'm really starting to move in the direction of I would be careful with.
Our Constitution is an amazing document.
Well,
Absolutely amazing. Our society would not have these problems that we have today if we would just follow the document.
right.
Okay? The Second Amendment is what makes the First Amendment possible.
Sure.
You take one of those away,
And it all goes away.
boy, you really better hope about the Fourth Amendment. I mean, that's what scares me. And if it frightens me, I can only imagine what it does to the person who violates that.
Sure.
So you come into my house and you're unauthorized. I will do everything in my power, not only to make sure that you're toast,
Right.
but I'm going to get it on video.
Right.
So anyway,
That being said, Ed says hang them by the streetlights.
again, who's them? Never mind. No. Don't answer that. Don't answer that. I
Ed,
don't want to know.
don't answer that.
Don't answer that.
Jason says, what do you think about the concrete asphalt work being done around town?
It sucks.
Wow. That was so.
You want me to elaborate?
Well,
No. I mean, that's the thing. Again, I'm focusing on Ward 6. Okay.
Right.
I have a theory about streetscape. And if you want me to elaborate, say so in the comments, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I think I know why the bricks are shifting.
Mm-hmm.
Why there's shadows and stuff like that.
Right.
I've worked construction crews. I've worked concrete. I mean, I didn't get this wonderful body because I'm at home on my couch. This girlish figure. Oh man, the people are going to be upset with me. Sorry. But they're not doing it right. Streetscape. They're not. And I don't think it's don't get me wrong. I think Environscape is one of the best companies I have ever seen as far as landscaping goes. I've been to their corporate office. It is beautiful over there on 62.
Yeah.
Beautiful. They know what they're doing. Okay. When you're rushed or something's not right,
Mm-hmm.
how can I make an analogy? You can't bake a cake with just water and flour.
Right.
If you're not given the correct information,
Right.
okay?
Yep.
You can't do the job properly. So I don't think it's the construction crews. I don't think it's and I already named the Environscape. I probably shouldn't have done that, but I don't think it's any of their fault. I think they're doing the best job they can do. And okay, so I'm already into it. I might as well just go all the way. So 3 months ago, give or take, okay, approximately 3 months ago, they're digging up the middle of Lincoln Way,
Okay.
okay, and they run into a problem. And the construction company, this was in the newspaper, so I'm not saying anything that's unfactual or anything like that. They said they're digging and they run into this tunnel,
Okay.
the aqueduct. Remember that?
Okay.
And the construction company goes, "We didn't know this was here. Nobody told us. We didn't know. What do we do?" So they backfill it. They go down, they get base 3 or 4 concrete. Well, I'm hoping that's what they got. Or they got whatever, dirt to fill it in. I hope it's not just dirt, but I mean, it just depends on the material they used. But regardless, when you dig up 10, 14, 16 feet, whatever it was, when you dig up 6 feet down, and you backfill it, you put a layer down and then another layer, and you tamp it, you roll it. You put another layer, you tamp it, roll it, and you put those layers after layers after layers. No matter how much you roll that and tamp it, what happens to the ground?
It'll sink.
It settles.
Yep.
So in a very short period of time, I mean, they just started putting in the first bricks, the first section, a month and a half ago? And 3 months ago, they dug it up and backfilled that aqueduct. So we have an engineering department. I'm sure they're aware of this. We have an inspector, but the inspector is only there to say, you're using this material and you're using it in this way, done. Okay, the inspector is just to look at it and go, yeah, you're doing it right. In layman's terms.
Right.
So any project I've ever worked on, if you don't have the proper foundation, no matter what you put on top of it, is going to be a wreck.
It'll eventually show through.
I was out in Mesa, Arizona, being trained for the CDF, California Department of Fire, in 2004. And again, that's a long curriculum. So basically what they do is you do classroom training. They send you out for a month to do more training out in the field, and then you come back and do classroom training. And then there's a certain amount of community work involved. So I'm out in Mesa, Arizona, and we're working on a Boys and Girls Club.
Okay.
And we're putting in a patio, a brick patio. Okay. And again, that's where I learned of some of these techniques. It's so easy if you don't have the right foundation for those bricks to slightly adjust. And that's exactly what I think is going on. I think when you have that settling, or you don't give the chance for the earth to settle, and then you put that much weight on top of it, especially, you're going to start having where it's, you got it perfectly level, and then you're going to start having some weird things going because the earth is shifting and settling in certain ways.
Right.
And I haven't heard anybody else say that or bring that up yet. So it would be nice to get a hold of somebody maybe after the election. I don't know. But it'd be nice to get in touch with somebody from the engineering department to say, hey, have you looked into this?
Right.
Has anybody given this any thought?
Right.
As far as the settling goes and the weight we're putting on top of it. And I'm sure there's an answer for it, but that's my theory of why the bricks are adjusting and showing shadows. So yeah, I think it's going to be really good for a couple of years, and then I think it's going to fall apart because it's adjusting.
Well, we'll see. Hopefully we have some type of idea as far as how we're going to maintain it after it's in place, because that's that to
again,
me.
Sorry.
That's the for me that's the big issue. Whether or not we need it or not, or that's all that aside. When I see a project like that, I think, okay, you're going to build it. When it's brand new, it's going to look fantastic. To keep it looking fantastic, you have to maintain it. And I see some big hurdles coming as far as the maintenance of it.
If you remember, a couple months ago in council, I asked our mayor that very question. What are your, Elam was there, I can't remember his name right now. The owner of the Sugar Bowl, which is opening up
Bill.
here in a couple weeks. Yeah, Bill Weaver was there. I said, feel free to answer this question, but what are your plans to maintain this? And her exact answer was, we're going to maintain it like we do everything else. And look at the tapes. It's on tape.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to maintain it like we do everything else. And in 10 to 15 years, we're going to take a look at it and assess what needs to be done to maintain it then. And to me, I appreciate the answer and the honesty, but to me, that's no good. That's not how you maintain something. When there's a problem, you need to have funding there to fix it. You can't wait 10 years. If the concrete, for whatever reason, because maybe they didn't put rebar in it, because maybe the ground wasn't leveled out and they just dumped concrete on top of dirt, if that sidewalk cracks, the city's legally responsible for liability reasons to maintain that sidewalk.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so a little off topic here. So that's what I got.
I think there's we're gonna have some, like I said, we have a few hurdles as far as how we're gonna maintain it. Ed says, warning: the new storm grate that was just put in Woodland Avenue and South Erie. The grate is about a half inch above the road. Snowplows will hit it. Yes, that's I don't think people. I would love to take the average person out. Not so much when we're salting, but when we're plowing.
Mm-hmm.
That's a whole different set of equations. But no, thanks, Ed, for if you see stuff like that, and I think that would be fantastic if you let me know, because that's they're directly affecting my neck, shoulders, and whiplash, to say the least.
I'm wondering how you guys are going to plow Lincoln Park Drive with the catch basin that's six inches too low.
I can tell you how that's going to happen. But anyway,
careful. You're
yeah. So Jason Harris says, I'm voting for you, brother. Let's see.
Thanks. I'm voting for you.
Ed said he's going to vote for you all 3 times. Oh, jeez. Ed.
Must be a Democrat.
Ed, I was going to say, Ed, you just can't commit voter fraud. I'm sorry.
He's gonna kill me for that.
Anyway, we are at an hour and 2 minutes.
All right, yeah, that's long enough. We've made people's ears bleed long enough.
Right.
Hey, thank you for having me on. I appreciate all you do.
Absolutely.
Really. I can't say thanks enough.
Sure. Anytime. I appreciate the sign.
Yeah.
For those that aren't aware, I'm trying to add to all this. So if you are scheduled to come on the show tomorrow,
I'm looking forward to seeing Megan. And
Megan's on at 5:30 and Joel's on at 7. So we will have a back-to-back set up there. Friday and Saturday are hit and miss. Next week I'm going on a much-needed hiatus.
Good.
In a place where cell phones do not get service.
Good. I highly recommend El Dorado National Forest. I once, I remember you don't realize how big you are, okay, until you're in front of a 300-foot redwood tree that's on fire.
Right.
And seeing helicopters flying over you dropping 600 gallons of water trying to knock it down.
Right.
And they accidentally miss the tree and hit you. Thanks, guys. Because, we're only stuck out there till the fire's out, so nothing like being wet the entire time. So, anyway, it is, though, even though if you ever get a chance to get out to California, go to any Sequoia National Forest. It's another planet, man.
Sure.
It will be surreal. It will make you realize that there is a higher power out there.
Mm-hmm.
Power out there. there's you want to get in touch with the earth, that's the way to do it. Just a suggestion.
I'm putting it on the list.
Do it.
All right.
Do it.
If you don't have anything else, I'm going to button it up, and we will be back tomorrow. Until then, stay sharp, keep a tight shot, group, and rock on.